So I wanted to shoot another quick video, just share with you guys that you really have nothing to lose. A lot of people say that entrepreneurship is risky, but I have come to realize that having a job is way more riskier. When you have a job, most of us escapees, we went to college. That's how we got into corporate America. A lot of us work in corporate America or used to work in corporate America, and we went to college to get those jobs. Went into a lot of student loan debt because that's what someone told us to do. I remember when I was going to college, I sat down and talked to a lot of counselors, and they were like, well, if you get this degree, you're going to have a great job and you're going to have great benefits. And they always talked about the benefits. That was their selling point. You would think these people work for these companies because they're like, you're going to have this great job, you're going to work for this great company, you're going to have these benefits, and you're going to have a stable job. That's what a lot of people would tell me, stable employment. And so, like a lot of people, I went to college, got a degree. My degree was in business. And like a lot of people going on TikTok, when I graduated college in 2009, we didn't have TikTok. We barely had YouTube. I think YouTube was in its first year of starting. We had Facebook, but I think Facebook was not famous yet because we had MySpace. MySpace was more famous. So MySpace eventually went away. We all know that, and Facebook took over. And we definitely didn't have TikTok and Instagram. Okay. So a lot of people were just taught the exact same thing. A lot of us followed the same roadmap because we didn't know any different. And I'm not even gonna, there are days I do get mad at some of those counselors because of what they taught me, what they told me, and they were the adults, and I was just like young at that time. I was a teenager. I'm sorry, not a teenager, early 20s and 30s going to college. Because I went to college, then I had stopped for a while so I could work a little more. Then I went back to college. So over those years, I would sit down with a counselor trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And then I was asked about all these careers, and then they had statistics on what these careers will make. So I wasn't really good in like IT kind of classes or engineering classes. I tried for medicine a little bit, to go into like pediatric nursing or dental hygiene. I tried for that, but couldn't get past some of those science classes. I did very well in business, and I knew that one day I would probably either start something for myself, nothing big or major, just something for me to have in the future. So I was like, okay, business is going to be great, and I love business and I love finance. So I was like, this is probably where I belong because it's more up my alley. I pay attention in these classes, and I'm excited to learn in these kind of classes versus the other science classes. It just, all that stuff just went over my head, and I didn't do too well in those classes. So I can't get too mad at the counselors, but because they were probably taught and misled themselves by someone in their life. But I did what they said, and then I graduated. And when I got out to look for a job, I'm thinking, oh my God, I made it, guys. I got a degree. Okay, I got a degree. I'm about to get me a nice job. I'm about to move up in life. I'm about to have nicer things. And I started looking for a job, and the jobs were telling me, well, you don't have experience in this field. Okay, HR jobs, administration jobs. I was going to start in those kind of jobs. They were like, well, you don't have experience in those jobs. Okay, I understand. How do I get experience? I just graduated. Like, you need to help me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I graduated. The college said if I get this degree and pay for it, there's going to be a job for me. So, I only know what I know, right? At that time, internet was still growing and developing. So you have resources, but it was more of what people taught you in your community. It wasn't the way it is today, where technology, you can go online, you can talk to somebody in India, you can talk to somebody in the UK, you can talk to somebody in Africa, you can talk to somebody in Kansas, in New York, in Seattle, whatever, and see what's going on in the job market. You just had your own community and the people you knew to rely on how to get into the workforce. First of all, I already had a lot of experience in the workforce. Before corporate America, in high school and going through college, I worked in restaurants. So I had a lot of customer service experience. I had a lot of people experience. I had sales experience. So I had event planning experience. I had experience. It wasn't like I never worked a job, right? It's not like that. But I get out and I start looking for a job, and I am excited. Okay. I start interviewing at some of these companies, and they're like, so what are you looking for? Okay, so they're talking to me. They seem to like me. They said the job was entry level. That's perfect because I need some more office skills. I actually had office skills through a restaurant job I had in some accounting, basic accounting, because I worked in their office and helped them with their accounting, Peachtree, working on payroll and things like that, weekly check runs, some things like that. So I had some experience, and then I worked in New York for some offices on Wall Street as well. So I had some financial background too. It's just those are like more through college, so they weren't like long term. And so I think, you know, I didn't really use those companies because they were temp assignments, right, at that time. So when we got to the salary part, the HR person was like, okay, so what are you looking for in salary? So remember, I went online. They said this is from the information you get from the schools too. Well, I was looking for 40,000, and they were like, what? They were like that, like, huh? And I was like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm lowballing myself because I'm already making over 50, 60, 70 in the restaurant business. So I'm thinking I'm lowballing myself, right? I'm like, I gotta start somewhere. So what I'm gonna do is just I'll take 40 just because I don't have any like major expenses or anything, and I can live off that. That's fine, and I could just work my way up to a better position. They thought I was crazy. I started off about way less than that, a little bit less than that, when I finally got a job. Those companies that I asked for 40 did not hire me. I started off really low, and when I got the job, I cried a lot because I realized I had went to school and I got this degree and I have student loans, and it's like, I can't make what I made without the degree. But because I was already in it and I had already left the other job, even though they told me I could come back if I wanted to, I was like, no, I need to work hard here, and then I could just move up. It's not going to take long. Oh, it took long. They were giving dollar raises, so it took long. And as I sat there, I just cried. Over the years, I started investing in 401k. I started buying real estate. I was just like, I have to do something, because obviously, even though I had good reviews from my boss in these jobs, I had a hard time moving up and finding the next higher paying job. So fast forward, we're now in 2024 when this video is being filmed. We're at the end of 2024 because we're about a little over a month and a half away from being 2025. Literally, people are making grants and videos about the same thing I was going through, like literally the same pay. They can barely find jobs with IT degrees and master's degrees that want to pay them $50,000, $60,000 a year. They're trying to start them at $45,000 a year. You're telling me when I graduated in 2009, I couldn't find it, and now today y'all just are offering people that amount I was trying to get back then, which I was told I could get? This is bad. So what I wanted to share with you in today's video is that you guys have nothing to lose at this point. I will say this: I grew up poor. I got a job and I stayed poor on those jobs because I had to pay taxes out of that money I was making, and I barely made money, and I still had to pay taxes. It wasn't until I started investing in real estate that I got some tax write-offs. Oh, and a 401k gives you a little tax. Gives you you can invest money on your pre-tax income. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're not making a certain amount of money and you're already poor, and you especially grew up poor, you may not have anything to lose at this point. You the society has a large population. I want to say a little over 50 million people in this country. I could be wrong on those numbers. Just maybe bear with me on those. Google them if you need to find the exact number. They are the working poor and the working homeless. I did another video talking about the working homeless, meaning people are going to work, but they cannot afford a home. Meaning like they're in places like California where rents are so high that, let's say they make 40 grand a year, or like 3,000 a month, and then the home is, the place that is for rent in their area, maybe they're asking for 3 times the rent. So they're not able to make 3 times the rent with their $3,000 to $5,000 a month paycheck. They need to be making more like $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month. Well, they're not able to get those kind of jobs to pay that. So they're basically, in order to survive and take care of their family, they basically have set up either tents, RVs, or basically living out of their cars, whatever the situation is, so that they can have enough money for things like food and taking care of their family, daycare, medicine, whatever they need. They have to make that choice. So they have a job, but they can't afford a lot off of their paycheck. So they are called the working homeless. When it gets to that point, when it gets to the point where you cannot no longer find a job paying you enough to take care of yourself, you have to start looking at how much longer you are going to spend your life fighting for these companies to give you something. Like, when are you going to take it upon yourself to go out and just start your own thing or start working on your own thing? You don't have to do it right away. You just build towards it. So what I'm trying to say is, like, when I started planning my corporate escape, I had nothing to lose, because I was already losing the way that I saw it. I was already struggling. I was already one paycheck away from catastrophic homelessness or an event or whatever. It was already happening. I was just working and giving all my time to someone else, and sacrificing all my extra energy and time to that company when I could have just spent that same amount of time building out my own thing. And some people, you guys are so smart out there. I want you to know, if you went to college, you're smart. You're smart, even if you didn't go to college. But I'm saying, especially if you went to college, you've learned a lot in life. And actually, a lot of people don't even need college, because of the way technology is and the way that we're able to get information. You don't need college like you used to before we had this technology. I made another video about the mass layoffs, and I was talking about Coursera, that company called Coursera. That company has a lot of courses on there for about $50-$60 a month or something. You can take a lot of courses. So you don't need to spend all this money on college like you had to back in the day to become educated. Now, you may need it for a job to have that degree, but you don't need it to just for educational purposes, just to increase your own skills. You can then take those skills and go out and build your own company. Your company doesn't have to be big. As long as it's enough where you can pay your own bills and you can take care of yourself and your family, you're okay. So let's say if you're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, you can easily replace that with your own thing. That's not a lot. That's not, so much that you can't replace that, right? But maybe if you have a really high paying job, then yeah, you may, if you're over 6 figures, like 200, 300,000, then yeah, that may take a little more skill setter or company to replace that kind of income. You have to make sure that you have enough customers with your business to replace that type of income. But anything under like 40 grand, you can probably build something, a food truck, provide some type of service, create some kind of product that you can sell where you could replace an income of that level. You just have to at least try to start planning your corporate escape. Even though you have a job and that job may seem stable at this time, you don't know what's going to happen with that job. You want to just be in a position where if they can you, or they say we don't need you anymore, or we don't want you here, just like I made a video on the mass layoff, companies were literally locking people out of their account with no warning and saying, oh, we have let you go. No, don't even give them no exit interview. Don't even have HR call them and give them some kind of courtesy. They're just basically locking people out of their work accounts and saying, hey, you no longer work here anymore. Don't contact the company. Don't come up to the office anymore. We will send you your final check or whatever. Like, this is where it's coming to with some of these companies. Not even some, a lot of them are treating people this way. And so when I say you have nothing to lose, what I'm trying to tell you is that job is way more riskier to continue to, be there and not know what the faith of that company or your job is with them. I'm gonna turn a light on. I think it's getting a little dark out here, but I just realized I had nothing else to lose. I mean, I've given it my all as far as working for someone else. I, have a very good resume. It's professionally done. And I've applied, and I'm constantly having to fight them for a decent wage. Like, I applied to one job and they're like, oh, well, we're paying $19 an hour. And I have like 10 years of accounting experience. Or we want to pay 19, 20, 24, 23 an hour, 26 an hour for this job. Like, what? Like, why? That's like entry level. Like, 19. Chick-fil-A, McDonald's is paying 15 out here, just so you guys know. McDonald's in Texas is paying 15, I believe. There is a company, I was looking at Lush. Lush makes the beauty products. It is one of my favorite stores. I love that store. They're paying 14 an hour. That's what I was making almost graduating college with a degree many years ago. So, a lot of people are chasing jobs and looking for jobs and waiting for these jobs to call them. They're spending all their time, all their life waiting for a callback just to find out they're going to get a $14, $18, $25 an hour job. In that same time that you're doing that, make sure that you are spending a good amount of time finding a product, a service that you can sell, or creating something that you can sell to the population, or that you can create some kind of business that you can do that you love doing, or that you see that there is an opportunity in doing. And you will be surprised that how many people have gotten laid off throughout life, and definitely throughout these last 20 years that I've been doing my research and helping people. I haven't been helping people with the planning or corporate escape part, because I just started that when I left my job years ago. But I'm saying, as far as like, I study businesses a lot. I study, entrepreneurship a lot. But I'm saying the people that I've come across and met, and that have told me, yeah, I got laid off, and this is how I started this business. It was because I got laid off and I had time. I don't think you should wait till you're laid off. I think you should be doing it while you have a job, and while you're saving and investing your money. You should be looking for opportunities, and you should be like trying to figure out where the market is going and where the world is going, and seeing if you can find a business or industry that you can tap into. There's also another recommendation is just to go to, well, of course you want to get out and network, but you also want to go to different trade shows, even if it's not something you do. So let's just say I'm not an IT person, but I would still go to a trade show that deals with robotics or things like that, and maybe there's a company I can invest in that deals with robotics or AI or things like that, because I'm not the one that's going to develop that kind of technology, because I'm not a tech, like I'm not a techie person, like or a coder or a computer person like that. I do know how to use my own devices, but I only know how to use them at a basic level. I don't know how to create them and to develop the software and the chips and all those things that go into it. Or there was a couple that became very successful in the medical industry, and they found this product, and I think they started investing in it, and then that's how they made like their $10-20 million. So there's a lot of opportunity in different sectors. You don't have to just stay with what you know. Let's say you're in the hair. I see, like, even this with beauticians. They'll be like, well, I'm a beautician, so I'm gonna go to all these beauty trade shows. You can do that to get your main income, because that's your main income, is maybe you own a salon, or you're a beautician, or you're a makeup artist. That's your main income. But once you get that income saved up and invested, and you're ready to now put that into some kind of either partnership, venture capitalist type of deals, or you're ready to invest in other areas to grow, you can also expand to other industries. You don't have to stay in the beauty industry. If you can't find the opportunity you're looking for there, you can also go into the healthcare industry. You can go into the technology industry. You can go into the housing, real estate development, construction industry. You can go into all kinds of industry, the food and beverage industry. You can go into oil and gas industry. You can go to different conferences and meet people from all different industries to learn what else is there to invest in, so that you can start planning your corporate escape. But I just wanted to tell you guys, like I said before in the beginning of the video, that I find it more risky to sit around and waiting on these jobs. Because when I was in corporate America, I am like literally sitting here doing my best, because I got my review. My reviews were amazing, so I appreciate that part. But for my employer, but they did notice my work. That most of my employers notice my work. But I'm sitting there waiting all year round for them to give me a $1 raise. I'm sitting there all year round waiting for a $2 raise. That's if there were raises that year. If the company didn't do well, then there was no raises, there was no bonuses. But you're like sitting there all year round for multiple years, 10, 20 years, however long you've been in the workforce, and you're waiting for them to give something to you. Or most people do. They wait around and they're like, well, if I keep working hard, I'm going to get this $1, $2, $3 raise, and I might move up, I might get a bonus. You may, and if it happens, great, take what you can get. But at the same time, if you're in the workforce, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you could have also been building something for yourself, so that if that day does come that you can no longer be at that company, or that company decides to do layoffs, or like one of the companies I work for, it ended up closing down because going out of business years ago. So you just want to be ready for whatever. Just be ready for whatever. And also, if you aren't traveling a lot outside the US, or even if you are outside the US already when you watch this video, if you want to be able to travel to other places to see what's going on over there, see if there's any opportunities for you in other countries as well, even on a smaller level, even on the investment level, just learning about other places, because you're going to have plenty of time in your life to do this. This is not something you got to run out and do tomorrow. You got to go and build a business in 6 months. If you can do that, by all means, do it. But I'm saying, if you're at a job already and you have time in your life to be building this up, and you should be working on it, because it's getting to that point where people are really, really not able to find work. And all that time you could have built your own thing. So I want to share with you, I want to give you the encouragement today that you really don't have anything to lose. You have technology, you have the internet. It is global, so you can reach people all over the world to sell your products and services to. You can get the word out fast with marketing on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and Facebook, and you can run digital ads. So there's ways that you can get your business in front of a massive amount of people faster than lightning, and just do great work, and people will come back and use your service. They'll send you referrals and things like that, and they'll grow over time. So it doesn't have to grow in one day, 1 year, 1 month. Work on this for the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years. Work on your side hustle, work on your company, work on your own thing, just in case that your job becomes obsolete. Another reason I want to talk about this whole college thing is because I notice people sometimes when I'm trying to help some people, with their escape plan, they think they can solve this problem by going back to college. They'll say to me, well, if I lose a job or this happens to me, I'll just go back to college and get more training. And I'm like, okay, but you're in your 40s now. You're in your 50s now. And I'm not saying you can't change your life in your 40s or 50s or whatever age you are. You can go back to school as much as you want. But when do you get to live your life? Like, this life is short. You're not going to live on this planet forever. Why are you in school for your life, for your whole entire life? You started going to school at 5 years old, elementary school. Then you had to go to middle school. Then you had to go to high school. Then you had to go to college. Then you work in the industry for 10 years. Then they tell you you in order to move up, you got to go back to get a master's, a PhD. So it keeps you in a cycle of debt in school. Then when you try to go get your raise from these companies, oh, this is my favorite one. When you go and apply for a company and then they say, you're overqualified. So what am I supposed to do? Oh, don't worry. Hold on. This is what I always like to say. Hold on one second. Let me do a brain dump real quick. Let me get rid of all the stuff I know and come back as an entry-level person. So I'm not overqualified for this job. So now they're trying to tell you, you get too much education. Some of these jobs are like, you're overqualified. So I gotta dumb myself down. I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm at this certain age in my life now. I know a lot now. I'm not the same person as I was in my 20s. I'm not the same person I was in my 30s. I'm a lot smarter now. With age comes wisdom. So you're going back to school trying to get this raise, trying to move up in these companies, and then they can still tell you, hey, you're overqualified. Huh? I gotta be dumb? I gotta be stupid? I gotta not... So I shouldn't have got this degree? Should I go take it back? Get a refund? Like, you would think someone would want you to know more stuff. Especially by the time you're 40 and 50 years old, you would think they'll say, wow, you know so much. This is what we can offer to pay you. Even if it's what you want or not. This is what we can offer to pay you. But you know a lot of stuff. And maybe as you work here, we can give you more. They don't even say something like that to you. It's just you're overqualified. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. That's like telling somebody you need to go and stop learning now because you're going to get overqualified. You're going to be so smart. You're going to know too much to help our company grow. Like, that makes no sense at all. So people are going back to schools, and I don't encourage this at all. But people are going back to school to get these raises. They're chasing these dollars. They're going back to school. The master's degree may cost them 20 to 50 grand, just depending on where they go to school. Then you go back to the job and they barely want to pay you $10, $20, $30, $40,000. But even if they pay you that money, you got to pay taxes on that money. So it's almost like you went to school, you paid all that extra money just to get a $10,000, $20,000 raise. Then most of it has to go back to taxes. When all you had to do in that same amount time frame that you spent getting your master's was plan your freaking go over to escape. Start investing and buying businesses and companies and getting passive income. Like, that's all you had to do. Like, why did you go and do that? Why are you putting yourself back in the same situation? And then some of these people, they get around 40 to 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're like, oh my God, I can't retire. I went to school, I got a master, I'm still paying on the master's degree. I was never able to save, even though I got that $10, $20, $30,000 raise. Everything went up. I still wasn't able to save or invest. Most people can't save and invest. They're just saying they never did it. And that was the thing they were supposed to be doing in the first place. If they just did that, instead of spending that money on that extra degree, they would have 1.2 million or some astronomical amount by the time they need it. Or by the time that job lays them off. I think this video's gotten long, but you guys, I'm gonna be making more content on this because I think people are waking up right now. I think that they're starting to see that no matter how hard they're working, they're leaving, getting up at 5, 6 in the morning, prepared for work. They're getting their kids ready for school. They leave the house at 7, 7:30. They don't get home till 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. They gotta, prepare dinner for themselves or their family. They don't have no energy left by the end of the day. Then they're sleepy. Then they have to get up at 5, 6 tomorrow and do it all over again. 5 days a week for the next 30, 40 years. And in between that, they're getting laid off and canned by the companies. And then they're going into more debt with student loans, trying to get masters and PhDs, thinking it's going to save them. And they're realizing it's not working. The math is not working. So, again, you have nothing to lose. Just try to build something for yourself. Pray to God that He sends you a message or a sign that send you some type of opportunity where you can build something for yourself. Sometimes I coach people and they say I don't know what I want to do. I don't know a business I want to start. I say, you may not. You may go, I said, just start planning your schedule, start saving and investing your money. And when an opportunity presents itself, you may be ready at that time. You may find an opportunity to buy a hotel. And they say to you, well, all you need is $250,000 down. Just an example, y'all. I know a lot of people are like, God, that's a lot of money. I don't have that right now. But you may have it in 5 or 10 years if you start saving and investing. And then when that opportunity presents itself, you're ready for it. And you'll be surprised. God will move you. He'll make it so you can't get that job because He's trying to help you start something. He'll be like, you could keep playing. I don't understand. I can't find a job. It's not meant for you to work for those kind of people. You have to start your own thing. I thought I was about to wrap this video up, but I have one more thing to share with y'all. All right, let me share this one last thing, and I gotta wrap this up. I used to think to myself, I was like, when I started thinking back at what was going on with these jobs and the ghosting of these jobs and things like that, I started thinking to myself, I said, just because we're born on this earth doesn't mean we're guaranteed a job. I want the job, thank you, for the opportunities to these companies. But I feel like people have gotten so used to having these jobs that I believe a lot of people are creative and they can actually create their own thing. They don't know that they can. And I feel like people were born into going to college and working for someone else that they almost like when they're getting laid off during these mass layoffs, they're almost like, oh my God, I can't believe this company fired me. I can't believe, you got to see these rants. They're like, I can't believe this. And I'm just like, well, you don't own it. I can believe it because it's not yours. They can do whatever they want. I'm not saying it's fair and it's right. I'm saying they're not born thinking, oh my God, I have a job waiting for you as soon as you get out of college and you're ready. That's not how it works in this world. I wish it did, but it's just not how it works. So we have to, even if we don't want to, even if we're being pushed into working for ourselves and finding and creating our own thing. I think we're being pushed into it. Even if we want jobs, our dream jobs at some of these major companies, we're not guaranteed any of it. And we're not guaranteed the longevity of being there, even if we want to be there 10, 20 years and make it our career or stay there till we're 50, 60 years old. We don't have that choice if we don't own that company. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll make some more videos on planning your corporate escape. All my information is below every video if you need to reach out to me if you need help with your escape plan. Thank you guys so much for watching today.